Hey, Carol.
Hey,
We're on, yeah. I'm Tracy from themotherhouse.org.
and I'm Tagg, a holistic artist with kissmyartsy.com.
All right. So the last video actually we skipped a bunch of dialogue because it was something that we needed to just be together on. And then we came in after we talked, but I just want to kind of give a preface on where I'm going to start today. And that is 2 videos ago. I think I did say on the recording that an energy came into my field. It was like very reminiscent of my sister energy. And it's something that I literally feel like me and my sister, we either fused on a soul level. We fused together on a soul level. And I'm sure many people out there can identify with feeling like you and maybe another person or even an animal or a person, place, or thing literally have fused together. And to detach from that, you have to, it's a tearing of the bones and the blood and the flesh, And so that was me and my sister. And so it took us on a very crazy road. But we ended up going our separate ways, and she's doing really well, I think. We don't communicate much anymore, but we don't communicate at all. But I still had work to do with that dang energy. Oh no, but gone. You think after 38 years, over and over again. Let me close my window. Hold on. But anyways, so it popped up again, and I want to actually read word for word the last text message because I think this did it. So it came into my right. So was in the recovery community for a long time, and so I know a lot of people in the recovery community, right? Of all different kinds. Like, it doesn't have to be the 12-step programs, rehab. I was enmeshed in it all around, right? And so, that they say, who's your family? So when I was younger, my family was the people on the streets, right? And then when I got into the recovery community, that was my family. And now I'm, enmeshed in really getting back to this holistic world, holistic practitioner. And actually, it's interesting because my book talks about the ecstatic - holistic world that the matriarchy used to, birth from and live in, and all of that. And I have some stuff so we can go back on the matriarchy and patriarchy because I got some new downloads on that too. But I just want to finish this story real quick. And so here comes this energy again, and it put me in a tough spot. It seemed to always put me in a tough spot, right, on how to respond to the situation at hand, right? Mm-hmm. And so, and this is super interesting because I'm learning right now that there's you hold a role in everything, and you really have to hold boundaries around that role, because if you don't, you will confuse other people. You'll confuse them and yourself. Or maybe you're just confused.
It'll take you off track. Yeah.
It'll take you off track. It'll take them off track.
And you'll spiral out.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's what happened. And I got to a place where I'm like, subconscious. I was talking to my subconscious like this. Hey, subconscious. I don't want to do this no more.
Yeah.
Right? Like, this really, I'm legit like done. Okay. And so I sat. So what it had me do, and this is one of the things that I think is crucial to holistic artistry, holistic practitioner, the shamanic world, the guide world, whether that's us in form or even probably the higher realms, is oh my god, I just lost it. Is shit, what was I talking about? God, things just fly right out of my brain. Like
you're the energy of your sister.
Oh yeah, but hold on. I'll get it back. Had to do with the guide, and a crucial thing that has to do with the guide, and that is shit, I don't remember. Anyways.
Is it from the book?
No.
No.
That's good too.
Okay.
What we'll see on tape, and then we'll go back to that on the next one. But anyways, I wanted to bring in probably, it might have been around being a guide and being connected to your spirit or something to that effect, so that you can help guide others. It was all around, like being a guide for others. Anyways, so what I said was, because you are newly sober, I wouldn't consider you a good candidate to be in my inner circle. I now have strict boundaries to protect my energy. Like I said, this hand is always here to help. That doesn't mean I will reach back out, because I'm not looking for a friendship like that. The common bond is sobriety, and for that I am grateful. And she hearted it, right?
Yeah.
She hearted it, and now hopefully she can use that to her advantage as well, and know that we can part ways and it can feel good at the same time. But it did take us a while to get there.
Now, I do have a question though, because I can't remember if you said that she is in a program or not.
So we've all been in many programs, let's just say.
Okay, so she's aware that you're giving her a boundary, but not saying get lost. She is aware that,
I'm saying that the boundary is, I am here when you need somebody. But what she wanted was what I have always given her, which is, it was based off of my own wound that created this feeling of, I guess it was a feeling that I needed to keep keep in contact, which ultimately sent the friend message instead of a guide message, right?
I see.
And so, like I said, and I left a small part out because
it's personal. Yeah.
Well, the recovery community, we need to protect the recovery community too.
Yes.
Just like, and what we are doing as well. Like, there are certain parts that we need to
keep safe,
protect.
Yeah.
Our members, right? And that is really important. And that is why the recovery community, it is a strong place, right? So part of the recovery community talks about how a long time ago, before the 30s and 12-step programs started coming out, there was no place to go. It was either death or institutions or, and so having a place to go where there's a solution is amazing. And so, yes, I want to protect a piece of that for her.
Good for you. Good for you in saying that I'm not going to be a verbal punching bag.
Oh my gosh, it feels so good.
Hold someone else's, projection. That's good job. That had to feel good. It had to feel good in your body. And I'm sure your body felt lighter because
yeah. And I've done this with a lot of people in my journey, right? so many I probably can't count, but this one was really, really in the core of me, you
Yeah.
know? It's like there's those certain ones that's in the core, and I'm like, I wanted to protect the ugliness. I wanted to protect
Hmm.
the the distruth in
Right.
our sacred space together, because it's not a truth when I'm not being honest about
How you feel?
how I feel, but at the same time, I want to be kind.
Yes.
And I think that was the hard thing that I was having a hard time with.
Right. Yeah. I had that same situation with my with my mother, a parent, you know. Um, it when my son disappeared, you know, I called her for um, consoling, you know, as a parent child type, or not, but a parent situation, you know.
Just for some support.
Right. Support and an update. And first, I want to clarify that, you know, my when my son disappeared, he was an adult. I mean, he was 26 years old. My job raising him had been completed. It's not like he was a child. So I just wanted to clarify that. But
Mhm.
when I spoke to my mother to give her an update about the situation, I mean, she literally went off on me about her self-righteousness, you know. And usually, speaking to her, I have to basically treat her like uh, a child herself, because there is a lot of wounding and hurt there that she's never really resolved. And so, who else better to take it out on than someone? I've always been that verbal punching bag and physical punching bag for her. And so when I established that boundary, like, look, this is not okay. I'm like, I'm hanging up the phone. If you want to reach me, you can contact me via email, because then it's an equal exchange of energy. You know, there is no verbal abuse because we weren't in the same state at that time. And so, even though as much as that hurt me, I felt better with myself and my choice of saying time out until you decide to either get some help or have some self-control speaking to me. We can keep the communication email. And I really haven't heard from her since, and this has been about a year ago. So
Yeah. That's
um,
painful.
yeah,
Yeah,
very.
and I think it's like it is. Like even with what you're saying, it is like you put some boundaries up, and then if they have to get tighter and tighter and tighter, or sometimes you put one boundary up, and the same thing. I've had that where I'm like, I blah 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 whatever, and then I don't hear from them again, and I think we're really together, we're family, we're close, whatever, and you know what it is? It's that they're whatever those lower vibrations are inside of them, it's got them on lockdown. They can't see through that.
They cannot see through that, and they take out war on you. I mean, some of the things that you called me, you know, I mean, I didn't deserve it, and I wasn't going to listen to it and
Yes.
accept it. And
Yes. I
yeah,
love that.
yeah,
Yeah, it's important. And it's important, and I want to sit in a place of forgiveness and a place of love for these people and for myself. And so yeah, I guess it feels good that I got to a place with at least one person. It definitely wasn't my family, because I had similar
mhm,
experiences with my family where I was like trying to figure out how to put boundaries up and kind of, express where I was at in this new mental space that I had, and say like I had to the cops were involved. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
what?
Once you
What?
get involved, everybody's
They want
going
to kill me, right? Yeah. And so get it. But then you continue to bring these energies in until you can get to a place when you release, there is a love there.
Yeah.
And I do feel like I finally got to this place with the sister energy that happened. I recently had the same thing with another mother energy that was very similar to my mom too.
Yeah.
And it went better than what happened with my own mother. But it was still I didn't get to a place where I could take a step back. I was still in a reactive period or reactive place with this type of energy, the mother energy. But I did, so here's the thing. And this is crazy, especially with your family, right? And this is a lesson that I learned in the hospital, actually. The lesson is don't make it personal. And I'm going to tell the quick story from the hospital. So there was a client, a patient or whatever during my 10 years at the hospital.
Yeah.
And I had this new sense of self, like a new, one more layer sense of self. And I was like, I'm going to stick up for myself now, And I had a client who did not have a ceiling when it came to opiate drugs. And I thought that I could, at first, I did it the way I normally did it, which was I was so good at like controlling my environment. That's how I kind of did it. I was very, very on top of like giving the medicine, and blah, 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 blah.
Yes.
And ultimately it got to the point where legally I couldn't give any more medicine. No, you're going to have to wait another however minutes, right? Before you get more, because the doctor's order says, and the doctor's not going to give you any.
Right. Yeah.
And you should be okay. Like, I mean, I've exceeded the amount of medicine, right? Like that the normal flow has, right?
Yes.
And what happened was she, started getting crazy. And I said to her, you've been mean to me, and I'm not going to allow for that anymore.
Yes.
And she said, you want to see mean? I'll show you mean. And she about ready came out of the bed, like,
yes.
Right. And I was like, oh crap. And I ran out and got my manager, because that's what you do when you have a situation like that. And of course the manager put another nurse in there. And afterwards it was a great hospital. And afterwards we would have a meeting on the incident. We would have to write up the incident and for teaching purposes, and and try and figure out what would you do differently, and what they told me. And I was being guided by some beautiful women.
Yes.
And although I probably hated them in the end, but they were still, now looking back, I realized they were always looking out for my best interest. And they said, you made it personal. And so ultimately, if I were to rewind time, I would have slowed down in the beginning and, reminded this person that this establishment, this is what we have at this establishment, and this is what we can do, right? And tried to allow her some time to develop some type of self-healing, self-soothing, right? And maybe even guide her in the self-soothing, right? And instead, I realized that I had trained myself as a young child to not even think about those things, not think about other people could self-soothe, right? Because I think as the oldest, and with my mom being so emotionally scattered, I just, there was not a lot of time to do that, I think, right? And put those things in the process. And I was just, and also like I learned from the people that I saw. So my mother and maybe the other people that were around. And that was, I don't know if that was every family, but it was every family on my block.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
So yeah.
Yes. You know, self-soothing is such an important key. And, you know, I have to say that a lot of people just don't know how to self-soothe without some type of external substance, some external tool, you know. And I'm here to say that I have been there. However, it is not demeaning to yourself to ask for help, to get help. Not at all. There are a lot of options out there for people to get help. And what that help does is teach you how to self-soothe and come up with practices that are aligned with the individual. You know, some of it is projected. I mean, we live in a duality world, and you have to make the decision on what feels right for you, versus looking at what looks good on paper. It's two totally different emotions that you're working with, two totally different tools that you're working with. And I see people struggling with this. You know, well, this expert over here tells me to do this, this, and this, and this expert over here tells me to do this. And then there's all this information on the internet, and it's not organized in bite-sized pieces to be able to self-soothe, for you to digest it, and make it a practice of your own. It's not easy, but it's not hard. You know, it's not that complicated.
Well, I think one of the things when we're talking about holistic is that it brings in the spiritual aspect. The spiritual aspect is important. And I think the problem that we have today is that people shy away from the spiritual aspect because it ties them to a methodology or a train of thought that was put into the air. I think originally with Christianity, of course, but there's many now, you know, that kind of voices this one-sided, we'll just say one, and this is a good segue to bring me back to the book. One-sided like it's almost like you have to have both sides of the coin because they're tied together, right?
Yeah.
And so we're talking about the matriarchy and the patriarchy here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And so I was reading my book, and which is whatever. And I had this thing like, what happened? You know, like I have been questioning this whole patriarchy thing for a really long time, because I know for me that I cannot harbor resentments, because if I harbor resentments, then it creates a darkness inside of me. And so ultimately, I do not want to harbor resentment against the patriarchy. I don't.
Yes.
The thing that I don't want to do, I don't.
It doesn't do any good.
Yeah. And it's just right. And so It's just flipping the script. And so in my book, it talked about when the patriarchy became the patriarchy, right? And I kind of chat for a little bit about this, about how um okay, and this is what they say: the good creates the bad and the bad creates the good. So what created the patriarchy? The matriarchy did, right? So the matriarchy, obviously the matriarchy at the time, it probably started out really whole and honest, but I'm sure that just like anything, it got to a place where ego came in and control came in and whatever, and it created a bad taste in some of the masculine energy in our world. And the masculine energy was like, we don't want to be in a matriarchy anymore.
Eat our fruits and vegetables.
We're gonna do patriarchy, okay?
Yes, the mind is seeking something that is pleasurable, and
Right.
so other establishments are formed.
Yeah, and back then it was the book was talking about how women were the ones who were the warriors and the men were at home, taking care of things. And that's how it was. And I'm sure that the men wanted a part of the action. Like they wanted a part of the action. Obviously what happened was, and this is what I am not trying not to do, is that when the patriarchy was created, it was created based on a resentment and hatred and all of those lower things. Like, we don't want to be a part of this, so we're gonna create our own part. So now what I say, and I said today, the matriarchy created the patriarchy, and the patriarchy created the mother house, and we'll also include Kiss My Auntie. Okay, it created us to get back to these holistic ways before even the matriarchy, like the beginning of time, when the matriarchy and the patriarchy, yin and yang, dark and light, played together. They played together.
Yeah.
But I love the patriarchy. It has created some really awesome things in our world. Our world is an awesome place. It just needs, in my world, it needed a little bit to bring back the wild. Needed to bring back the wild a little bit. And I think that that's what we're at least that I feel that for both of us when we're chatting it up like this, like I want my private membership association to be a place of freedom.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. And I think a good indicator of how you feel in this current moment right now, for those that are listening, ask the question of, if your belief system and the way how you've been raised is helping you excel and succeed right now. And if you can't honestly feel that answer as a yes, because that resonates in your body, then look for an alternative. Just look for it. Seek it out. And evolution happens whether we're ready for it or not. That's just how this world evolves, And I have to say that when I started my practice, it was when I opened up my dance studio, and I was implementing these practices to not only uplift my clients that were coming in, but also uplift the instructors that I also had, because you have to continue to learn and grow. And so coaching both people, it was really a juggling act. So when, I stepped out of the studio business, I had a really difficult time coming up with the name, because I did have a segment that I created before it even got off the ground. It was the sanctuary where I was administering. Gosh, I can't talk.
Administering.
Yeah. Part of the sacred circle with my feminine members. And coming up with Kiss My Artsy, I didn't have the tool that I once had with the studio. So now I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to come up with the name of this ministry? And, the art comes from the heart. The art of living is not only is it mind, based on the mind and conditioning, but also the heart, the essence of who you are and what you enjoy and the things that light you up in life. And the kiss part was keep it simply sacred. So I came up with Kiss My Artsy. I just should have said Kiss My Heart and kept the C off of it, but I want it to be fun. Growth and coming up with practices that are self-soothing practices and expanding your mind and your body and your horizons. It should be fun, along with releasing the guilt, the pain, the shame, the drama that has kept you pigeonholed to this point. So I think that struggling has limit our ability to find the humor in all the mess ups that we've accomplished.
Girl, and I love it because can you say what KISS stands for again? Because you could use that in so many things. What was it again?
Keep it simply sacred.
Oh, I love that. Oh man, that is great. That should be right underneath that. Love that. No, I agree with you. And I'll tell you, I've been to some Native American circles. One of them was in Vermont at the Peace Village. And I with the Hani Yawahu, which she is Cherokee, and they sang a lot of the songs that are original from when she was a little girl. And one of the songs is
Yeah.
And I don't know the tempo and all that, but it is just like pretend like just pretending like you're laughing. And she, before we went on to do the chant, she told a story about how her ancestors talked about how important it was to not take yourself so seriously, not take the world so seriously, and and have some fun with it. And so, and a lot of the songs were, like very simple minded but just packed a punch. I mean, I went on a vision quest like you wouldn't believe. I think I was like, I swear to God, I have not done any drugs in 9 years. But I looked like I took a bunch of acid because I don't know where the hell I was, but that's just a natural thing that I have acquired the ability to do. I can jump into different realms and stuff like that. But it was a great experience and you know what, to be honest with you, a lot of the places that I go, that I have been in, that are like secret society or private membership inclusive places, have something in their foundation around the importance of not taking yourself too seriously and having fun.
Yes.
Yeah, love that. So do you have anything? Because I can pull a card.
No, I really don't have anything other than, the gremlins are busy
Yeah.
getting their chaos, so
Yes.
that's you keep that in mind and try to laugh it off as you maneuver through your day. It's just the current energy right now. It too shall pass. So
Yeah.
um, don't embody that.
All right. So I'm going to shuffle and you are going to say now when I start shuffling. Okay. Whenever you are ready.
Ready.
All right. This is from, I love this chick. It's Elena Fairchild. She has so many good decks.
Medicine Heart.
Oh, this one is a freaking good one.
Yeah.
This one's a good one. I've picked from the archetype type deck. I don't know if you've seen this one. This was the last one that we picked from. That's a cool one too.
Okay.
All right. So, oh, there we go.
33. I can't read it. It's kind of okay. 33 ascendancy capability or capacity. Hello.
Yeah, yeah, ascendancy capacity. Yep. And I'm not going to read the whole card, but I'll just read. So it has a lion on the front, right? And I do think that. So in the star system, there is a star system called Lyra, right? And it's a Larian star system. It is the lion, and they okay. So like in the spiritual community, they talk about the reptilians a lot. The reptilians are in our everywhere. They're good reptilians, bad reptilians. There's a shadow world and everything, right? And they have said a lot that they don't know where the lions went. Where did the lions go? Where did the Larians go? Where'd they go? Right.
Yes.
And I think that they have been strategizing and they have been allowing for us to evolve. And they have always been there to protect us. It's kind of like the God thing, right? Like,
Yes.
you feel like God's gone, but ultimately it's just not as hands-on, I guess, right, than the devil. Because you see the devil, you know what the devil did.
All hands on.
I just saw the devil myself, and he winked at me, and I was like, oh, I know you're there, I know, but you stay over there. Okay, ascendancy capacity. Challenges in your life are a means to a greater end, catalyzing your readiness for an increased flow of grace and refining your ability to handle higher levels of spiritual electricity and responsibility. Continue to engage in your process, recognizing that your limits are being tested. At the same time, take care and apply wisdom so that you navigate the line between breakdown and breakthrough. This is a testing time with an extremely positive end in view. Embrace your power whilst surrendering into your wisdom.
I like that. Yeah. Yeah. Just pass the test.
Oh, I got goosebumps.
Authentic self.
I got goosebumps. Goosebumps, and I've heard a lot of psychic people and mediums and stuff talk about it's the truth chills or whatever. And I know when I get goosebumps all over my body when I'm talking to somebody else, it completely means truth.
Yes.
It means truth on the highest level.
Yeah. Yeah. Truth. You're completely in line.
You're feeling it. Like you said, you're feeling it. That's your heart lighting up, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. And your mind, subconscious and conscious. It's all on the same page. Your body, your being, your essence, your soul, your spirit. It's all in a line at that moment. Yeah. Yeah, so it feels good. So
we could talk about the Gremlins. So let's go back to the movie, The Gremlin. Do you remember that movie?
Oh yeah.
Okay. And so the guy got a cute little thing called a Weebly or Weebly.
Mugwai.
Mogwai, yeah.
Okay.
And if it touched water
After midnight.
after midnight,
I think.
yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
yeah. That's what
I
it
know
was.
it's water and food or something.
Yeah, they would turn into these crazy lunatics.
Yeah.
Gremlins. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we break that down a little bit, water means emotions, right? And after midnight, I would consider having to do with the moon,
Correct.
moon energy.
Highest point of the moon. Yeah.
So these, and okay, so let's just, I'm just going to bring in the black dog and the brown dog a little bit here. So this is my experience with the black dog and the brown dog. The black dog is, you can see it, like it is, angry and foaming at the mouth, and it is angry, and you know what that is. It's angry, right? And then you have the brown dog. The brown dog sits with the black dog, and the brown dog's got these like cute little eyes and these floppy ears, and it's like, love me, I love you. But it's this passive cuteness, this passive, like, I don't know, I want to love you. It's not like the black dog. The black dog, you could tell. That shit is like deep.
Mm.
The brown dog is like, it reeled me in for 20 years. That was a 20-year relationship. It was the brown dog because he was, and it has nothing to do with the color. It's just, that's how it came to me in my vision quest.
Yeah.
But because my ex was white, okay, so it doesn't really matter. It's not like that. But he had those, he had that passive that I didn't see it. I didn't see that part. That was a dark part. I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
And so even years after, I was still like, well, he was so kind to me. But God, the divine, whatever you want to call the divine, put the brown dog in my path because it was something that was going to help me grow.
Mm-hmm.
And it was using the brown dog's
Innocence.
Negative attributes,
Okay.
like his character defects. It was using his character defects to ultimately help me grow, because anybody else, anybody who was smart enough to see his bullshit would have called him on his bullshit.
Meaning aligned, anyone aligned with their authentic self would have seen this.
And yeah. I wouldn't. I didn't know. I was just like, oh my God, he's being so kind.
Yeah. Like that stray animal you find off the street. You bring it home, it's full of fleas and ticks, and it eats all destroys everything in its path. I get it.
That's like the brown dog and the black dog together. Yeah, that's weird. So anyways, I think, where are we in the moon cycle right now?
We are at the end phase of the full moon. So energies or emotions that should start calming, and this is a great time to start setting intentions for the new moon coming up, which is, I think it's like 2 weeks away.
Really that far? I thought it was sooner.
Let me double check here. Let's see. This is the new moon is on the 25th, so
right.
Is the 16th. Oh, okay. It's
not 9 days.
A week from Wednesday. So this is a good time to begin a new cycle with intentions, So if you have any goals, to our viewers, if you have any goals, or if you want to release things out of your energy, this is the perfect time to start thinking about them. So you can become in alignment of that. And you know what? I know this is kind of short notice, but I will have a link in the description on new moon intentions.
Why don't we should do new moon and full moon videos, ceremonies.
Yeah.
We could do that.
Yeah, you do that.
We should at least plan. We'll plan for the new moon and see if we can get that going. So stay tuned. But with the other thing with the moon, because I really am getting into the moon recently, and is so after the full moon, okay, so you have the new moon, you set your intentions, you get to the full moon, it's the height of those intentions, really like trying to formulate into your being. And then after it's formulated into your being after the full moon, you try and use that in your everyday life and integrate that. And do you feel like with the gremlins, that they could be appearing because one is that they are struggling integrating, two, helping whoever needs to integrate theirs, right? Because obviously the gremlins are purposeful when we need to remember how to integrate ours, right? Which if we're trying to live a life aligned to the divine, then the divine is going to send both light and dark, and sometimes it's in the form of freaking gremlins, and to help us go to the divine. And so do you feel that?
That's a really great question, Tracy. That is a really great question, because my philosophy feels as though the gremlins are necessary. They're needing attention to bring in your awareness of some things that we hold on to, because the body is a giant filter, and we filter out our emotions and our food intake and our environment. We all filter that out in our different ways. Expression. Okay. So with the gremlins in place, it's bringing attention to what we need to focus on, and it can be destructive. However, it's how you release that destructiveness so you recognize it when it comes back around again. I believe that the gremlin itself, or not is it what's the name of the
Mogwai?
Mogwai.
Yeah.
The Mogwai is there. It embodies the emotion of love. We enjoy holding it and kissing it and loving it and cradling it. And so this is an inner type of self-soothing practice that we try to hold on to and ignore the gremlin part of it. But as you know, those gremlins get pretty big. That shadow gets pretty big, and it casts its projections over the love that you're trying to nurture within yourself.
Oh, that shows a good picture of how we build our heart wall right there.
Yes, exactly. And so it's very important that the gremlins get attention as well. They're doing everything to.
That's why you might need support.
Yes,
from a guide. That's right there why you need support from a guide. Some of the stuff that I have released in my dark energy field, I have loved and released. I couldn't have done it alone.
Mm-hmm.
I needed it, and it wasn't even somebody who could go maybe. Well, anyway, on an energetic level, they could go that deep to be able to, but on a conscious level, there wasn't much words that needed to be there.
Yes.
It was more of speaking of what is going on and in relation to the energy work and the sacred exchange, and then allowing for the natural undercurrent of the divine to sift through that, and just holding space for myself, holding space for whatever needed to come through, and not giving up. Oh my God. I wanted to give up so many freaking times in my life.
Give in. You're just like, okay, just take me to me out my misery. Yeah.
And you know what I find is that I want to give up. I'm realizing this today. It's coming in real strong. Is when I normally want to give up is right before it's gonna get good.
Yeah. Before there's a breakthrough. Yeah.
Dang. Like, I'm like, man, what the heck was I thinking? But at the same time, I know everything is timing, and it needed to be, I needed to go through certain things to get to certain places, to be aligned with certain energies, to be able to go through whatever that is with whatever guide. And so I had specific guides along the way. I would even call my ex's guides, my teachers in school guides. I mean, like every person, my family, they've all been guides for me. And then, you know, when I got deeper into the spiritual work, then I signed on with some pretty big hitters, you know.
Yeah.
In the spiritual sense, in the non-seen or unseen and the seen world.
Yes.
And it's been, what a journey.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the unseen doesn't stay unseen when it becomes your awareness, you know, when it's in your awareness, that's the whole thing. And it can be kind of scary for people not knowing that. Well, you know, I don't know anything about this, and I've been taught that this is evil and this is bad and da, 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 da. Well, you know, that's a matter of projection, you know, that's a matter of opinion. And if you really want to know, and if you really want to know for yourself, you're going to have to try it yourself.
Right. Like, I want to say, says who? Like, and the only reason why a lot of times, and I'm going to just say this from my own personal experience, that I signed on to believing in what I was told was because I knew no better. I didn't know how to connect with the inner truth that was connected to the divine within myself. And ultimately, you know, it goes back to my ex. He said some really good one-liners, and one of them was, Tracy, do you want to be, how far are you willing to go to be right?
Oh my gosh. I had this conversation with someone here recently, a couple of weeks ago, and it was just like it was on the road of destruction, you know.
Right, because I needed to learn what it was based off of. Where's that coming from? Like, a lot of even, you know, that a lot of the stuff that we were taught in school, it's not pertinent information to where we're living, right? And so, like, they're still teaching, just recently when we went through the COVID and we had to homeschool my nephew, they were teaching him that our brain cells and our nervous cells don't grow back.
That's untrue.
They were still teaching that. And I said, while my ex was teaching my nephew this, I came out of the room and I was like, no, that's not true. And they were like, oh, who says who, you know? And I like Googled it, and I was like, right here, neuroplasticity, like it can grow back.
Yeah.
And they were like, we just get out of here, right? They don't want to hear the truth, because I'm like,
yes, the commercial society is going to teach that, because they're dependent on the income from brokenness.
I think it's ultimately, it's so, and this is kind of sometimes how I look at some of these systems that we have set up, is that it's like the snowball, and the snowball is so big that they have a hard time changing out of it. So like every school curriculum everywhere has these has a bunch of untrue things in it, and untrue related to where we are in our knowledge based world and what's going on. I mean, they're sending, like Elon Musk can get to the moon or something. I mean, you know what I mean? Like whatever. And so, and when you go into these schools and the curriculums, it just, some of the things are like, they're still teaching that? What is that? No.
Yeah, there's no evolution at all. That's really sad. But it has its place, because when you start asking the questions, it takes you down a completely different path than what's being taught. And so you evolve either way.
I think it goes to that thing we were just talking about, which is don't take life too seriously and have fun with it, because there are going to be, this is where it comes in that you want to question things and you want to build a relationship with your own divine within, because if something doesn't feel right for you, you will know that you don't have to push against the system, but you can bring in things that are true for you.
Yes, you can. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And I love that. If I had a kid right now, if I had a kid that was in school, he wouldn't be in school. They wouldn't be in school. No.
Yeah, I wanted to homeschool my kids so badly. I really did. But, as society has it, I had to work. And
see, I would have to do that too. I would probably have to do that too. See, I say that I would pull them out, but no. But you know what? Maybe I would, like you did, I would build their sense of self.
Mm-hmm.
So that they could, have both sides, right? So you have the side where you can be in the community and do community things, but at the same time, you have a healthy bit of
knowing of who you are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just fell victim to anything anybody told me. Oh yeah, the sky's falling. Oh shit, where do we go?
I was that too, and I would question everything. The punishment was so detrimental. If I didn't fall in line, and do what they said to do, I mean, the punishment was horrendous, and so it was shut her up. Right. Shut her up now, you know what I mean?
Maybe that's why. It helped us get to this place. And we needed to feel the pain of people not allowing us to expand and express the way we needed to, so that we could sit with that long enough to understand that that is not how we want to be. And now we get to teach people that they can also expand and express to their fullest as well.
And look how the world has evolved since we were children. I mean, now we have the internet, and self-expression is like at its top now. Whereas before, you still had to go through institutions and organizations to get the proper education of what they wanted you to talk about. So I can see these half truths not being able to come forth. But I mean, evolution happens if you're ready for it or not. Some people will embrace it and grow with it instead of go with it. And some people will not. And that's okay too.
Yeah.
Timing is everything. And so,
yes, it is okay. And I have gotten to a place where in the mother house, you can become a member for free. I mean, you can be a member. It's fine. Yeah. But if you want a guide I really want to encourage the point that, ask yourself some questions where you want to get to some honesty with it.
Yeah.
And stop putting around. Because if you think that, you have some type of physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual ailment, and that isn't based on a soul level, you got another thing coming.
Exactly. And if
it's just gonna keep getting worse and worse and worse, and you're gonna get more stuff, and then you're gonna die, and then you're gonna have to come back and do it all again.
oh God. And if you're unsure about it, just check it out. I've revamped my website to explain the programs that I have in detail. So you can come in with your eyes wide open. Being transparent is very important to me as a person in the society, and I want to know. You can become a member for free and just be a part of a community that's going to resonate with you, and Tracy and I will have our comments and our information in the comments, so you can check it out and see what it is you like. You might resonate with Tracy and know exactly where you want to go, and exactly what your stumbling blocks are, or you might resonate with me. You're just not sure, and you want to experience some different things first to see what's going to work for you. Her philosophy is still in alignment with mine, but her approach is different than mine is. So just try it and see if you like it or not. It's free. What is it going to cost you? Time of just reading through the information.
Yeah, my website also I put some videos on there as well. And so you can go and kind of surf around and all of that stuff. So yeah.
So that
What do you got to lose? What do you got to lose? Nothing. You got nothing to lose.
We should be saying, what do you have to gain?
Yourself. I love that. Yourself. And you get to learn about what this whole thing, FBO/PMA, is all about, holistic, and what that entails as well, and balance, and balance and breath, and it's important for all that stuff, and healing. And so if you're struggling on any level, which is physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual, check it out.
Yes.
Check it out.
Okay, well, that pretty much wraps up our hour. And so this is Tracy Constantine with the motherhouse.org. And I am Tagg, the holistic artist with kidsmyartsy.com. And we will catch you next video.
See ya.